back to my channel. I'm Diana, creator of Money Boss Mama, and the holiday season is right around the corner. Actually, it has pretty much started. So I know that you guys are going to be going out and buying Christmas gifts, and I wanted to give you some tips on how to set your Christmas budget for this year, as well as some tips on how to stick to it. All right, so before you do anything, obviously you are going to need to stop, drop, and set up your Christmas budget. Hopefully you guys already have a fund that you have been working on throughout the year, and you have a pretty good idea of what your Christmas budget is going to be in regards to how much you have to spend. But if you have not started, you have a little bit over a month to save up money so that you can go out and purchase gifts for your loved ones. And whether you are going to use a certain paycheck or a bonus or incentive you are expecting, just be sure to be intentional about actually setting aside that money instead of swiping a credit card. But whenever you are going to set up your Christmas budget, you want to first list out everyone you would like to purchase a gift for. This list is going to help you see, how far your budget has to stretch in order to get through everyone's name. And at the end, you may find that some people are not going to make the final cut. Some people are not going to make it to the final round, and that is okay. Consider sticking with just immediate family members and those who purchase you gifts often. And I know that your heart may be bleeding to think of crossing some people out, but hear me out. When you have a shorter list, it allows you to purchase more for those who are left on the list. That's because your money is not being divided out into a million different ways. It's more concentrated. And so you have more money to work with these specific people that are going to be left. Once you have everyone's name listed and that is your final round, underneath every person's name, you want to add 3 bullet points. So it's really a lot easier to do this in Word versus writing it down, because you can easily, backspace and get rid of anything. But you want to list out 3 interests that this person has. What are they passionate about? What are they always talking about? What have you observed that they need? You want to have at least 3 interests. That way you have something to play off of whenever you're actually going out to purchase their gifts. Whenever you have their interests listed out, you want to include 3 more bullet points, and this is going to be for potential gift options. So based on their interests, list out gift options, and this is going to help you to calculate how much your budget should be for each person. And whenever you are calculating your budget, you want to also keep in mind your expenses. So what monthly expenses that you have to pay in December and even this month in November. You want to take into consideration your debt payments. So we want to make sure that we're not defaulting on any loans because we're trying to be the best gift giver. You want to also include how much time you have left. So if you don't have your Christmas fund started or it's not fully funded, how much time do you have left to get to a certain amount, as well as what is their importance to you. So there may be some people on this list, like your kids, that would be more important. So you may have a different budget for them. And so let's say that you have 5 people on your list and you have a budget of $500. That's based on what you have saved right now. If you divide it equally across those 5 people, that's going to be $100 per person. You don't have to keep everyone's budget the same. So if 2 people out of that list they're your kids, and maybe the other 3 is your mom, dad, and your stepmom, you may want to spend more on your children. So you may give them a budget of $150 each. That's $300. And that will leave you with a budget of $200 for the remaining 3 people. One way that I did it, just to keep everything streamlined and make it less complicated, everyone outside of my kids got the same budget. So if you divide that 200 by the remaining 3 people, then you know that you have about $67 that you can spend on everyone else. And based on their interests and those gift options, be sure to look at which ones would fit comfortably within that $67. I know that this tip is really simple, but it's one that's hard for a lot of us to accept, especially if you're just naturally a giver and it just lights you up to give. Do not be extra, because being extra typically costs extra. And I know that the holiday season has become like this competition on who can get the most gifts, who can give the best gifts, and it has somehow cross wires with our self-worth. And so we feel like if we don't give the best gifts or the most gifts, that somehow we failed and we're not worthy. But you're on a financial journey, and do not be that person to give up your rent money or something like that in order to give the best gifts. Give yourself a chance next year in order to start off on a good foot. You don't want to go into the new year with a lot of debt because you wanted to be the best gift giver. And one thing that really helped me was using a 1-to-1 ratio. I would limit everyone except for my kids to 1 gift. And trust me when I say, whenever you are only looking for 1 gift for each person, it makes shopping a lot less stressful because it takes less creative juices. And honestly, I just feel like it is the thought that counts anyway. When I did this 1-to-1 ratio, I was able to pay for gifts for 8 people with just $154. Not lying. I was very low income at the time, and I still wanted to give to my loved ones. Now, I remember, like, mainly the women, I got them a bath bomb from Lush, because we're all into lotions and things like that. And I think the bath bombs were about $8 to $10 each. And so that really helped me out because it was only $30 for the 3 women on my list. And they really liked it. It was a simple, thoughtful gift that cost like less than $20. And it still allowed me to stay within my budget. This is a really important tip because the purpose of you jotting down their interests is so that you'll purchase something that they're actually going to use. I know a lot of us may have had those gifts over the years that maybe we used for one time, and then after a while we didn't really use it anymore, so it's collecting dust bunnies. And like, think of how pissed off you would be to know that you went out and spent your hard-earned money on something that someone didn't want, or it wasn't useful to this person. So it's just sitting somewhere and it's collecting dust. And if you don't know their interests, like that's okay. You would just use a good old observation. I was somebody who always got suckered into Secret Santa at work. I did not want to look like the person that was not participating, and I was going to be the only person that sat out. So I participated in Secret Santa every year when I was a CSR, and some employees, like some of my coworkers, I didn't really know, so I would always resort to observation. So based on what I was observing, I would then create my list of 3 gift options. So maybe if this coworker, they juggled a lot of responsibilities, then one time I did go out to Target and I purchased a little cheap planner. Like, it's really just as simple as that. Online shopping is going to be at an all-time high this year, so it's going to be really easy to get cash back on your purchases. There are cashback sites like Rakuten, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but there are cashback sites like that that give you about 2 to 20% depending on your purchase and the retailer. And they're able to do this because retailers partner with these sites, and in exchange for these sites sending them traffic, they will then give them some profit. So they'll give you some of that profit through cash back. And I was able to get like over $108, I believe, over $100 from Rakuten, just by simply clicking on the retailer site through their website. And there are some credit card issuers that are going to be giving you higher than normal cash back for certain retailers, like maybe Amazon or super centers. So if you have a credit card that has cash back, you want to make sure to keep an eye out on that as well. I have mine through Discover as well as American Express, so I also recommend them and using those cards to make your purchases as long as you have the money to pay it right back. That way you can get that 5% or however much they're offering you for the purchase. If you have never shopped on clearance, then you are missing out. You are missing out on some savings. I normally try to shop the clearance rack, even though I have a budget and I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to purchase for each person. I'm always going to try to get a discount. Like, make it a game to come underneath your Christmas budget and by getting the best price. So if you are shopping online, it's really easy. Just go to the sale tab that they have and kind of browse through there and see what they have. Or if you are shopping in the physical, we all know how to get to the clearance rack. All right, this tip is going to take like a little bit more patience. I know our lack of patience often causes us to go with the first website that we see that has the whatever it is that we're trying to purchase. So we'll just purchase it instead of shopping around. But comparing prices, if you take the time to do it, it's often that you will find a different website that has the same exact product but for a little less. And some certain sites, they do make this easier, so you're not having to jump from site to site. They'll actually have the retailers as well as how much each... My neighbor's dogs. Anyway, sites like Google make it very easy to compare prices because they'll have each retailer and they'll have each retailer's price for each specific item. That way you can just click whichever one is the lowest and whichever retailer that you trust and go straight to the site to make the purchase. All right guys, so this wraps up the video, but I do want to reiterate the fact that we all love to give, but you can't give what you don't have. So considering what you have to work with, you can make it work, and it may not be as extravagant as you would like it to be, but it's still the thought that counts, and you're still worthy no matter if you don't give gifts, if you give cheap gifts, or if you give extravagant gifts. It does not change your worth. You are still worthy of love and receiving love and giving love no matter what your Christmas budget is this year. I hope that these tips were helpful, and I will catch you all in the next one.